Hey everybody, it's Jamonster back again with Opus Gaming, and I'm here with my friend Julio, who just got top 16 in this past weekend's Top Cut Regional in person from Illinois. It was in, what was the name of the city it was in?
I think it's pronounced Peoria
Peoria?
or something like that.
Okay,
I really don't know how to pronounce it. I thought it was in Chicago, but apparently
Me too,
not. Yeah.
me too. When we were all talking about it beforehand, we all thought it was in Chicago too. But so for the Peoria Regionals, how was the event for you, man?
Overall, the event was pretty good.
Great.
All my opponents were nice. Shout out to my round 9 opponent for sharking me on the 9 drop, Joe Fetting.
No, for sure. I heard a lot about... The first place I heard about the 9 drop like sharks was on Facebook. Like somebody made a Facebook post about it, and then it just kind of ramped up from there. We heard more and more stories about people getting sharks, so that's really funny.
Yeah,
but
at least I know how to declare the 9 drop now. Declare on my leader every single time.
Every single time. That and Dodon as well. But
yeah.
We'll talk more about the tournament and all that stuff, but let's jump into your deck profile. Who did you run and why did you run them?
So I ended up going with the StrawBeard, so Edward Newgate as leader. I decided to do StrawBeard over Boat just because I thought StrawBeard just had better matchups against like all the other decks.
Yeah.
Come to find out, like I didn't do a lot of testing with this deck, so I didn't know how the mirror was gonna go too much. I knew I had to go second, and obviously like 9 drop Newgate was key. But I didn't know that this deck did have a weak spot, and it was the mirror with Boat.
Oh, okay. So when your opponent has Boat, you felt like it was too overwhelming for them to kind of...
It was. So
Okay.
after finding out that I was playing the undefeated guy.
Yeah.
And I knew he was on Boat. We tested for like a couple hours.
Absolutely.
And like
you got to.
Yeah, and like it felt like you had to draw either a perfect hand where you had to drop two 9-beard or 9 drop Whitebeard, and then have a bunch of 2Ks while they had Boat on field,
Yeah.
or you were really losing that matchup.
Okay.
So we were like, he either needs to not draw it, we need to draw optimally, or else that matchup is really hard. It's just the mark was just coming back, and it's just really hard.
No, there's the infinite like value from the Marco I could see being a big deal, but that 2K, like they just build a board, and it's just everything is such a heavy swinger with plus 2K.
Yeah, and the fact that they have all that, and like the thing with our deck that like helps out against other decks is that they don't get that extra boost. So that's why I thought this deck was good against Kinemon, Smoker, Zoro, and all that.
For sure.
So it was just that deck did come to a surprise and knock me out of top 16.
Okay, for sure. That's super interesting. I can't wait to see like some of your deck choices here.
So I'll start off with the Straw package.
Okay.
So I played 4 Namis, 2 Robin, and I maxed out on the 4 6s, so 4 Frankie and 4/6 Monkey D. Luffy.
Yeah. For the 1 cost or 4 cost, how did that perform? For kind of like a lower end on curve, because that's kind of the cards you're dropping for the first 2 turns. That's what you're kind of looking to drop them at.
Yep. So for going first or second, like seeing Nami is really good because this hits your curve. Like you can either get the Monkey D. Luffy or the Frankie, so you can drop that on your turn 2.
Yep.
If they make you go first. I thought that Nico Robin was going to be really good against the Zoro and Lam matchup. So round 8, I was forced to go first, but I dropped Nico Robin on curve, which forced him to jet pistol it. So his turn 2 was basically dead.
Yep.
And then after that, I was just able to play with my other cards, which were the 4 Rush Luffy.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to kill this card. So like
sure.
this was the card that was really good against like baby blockers or bigger blockers, just because once it puts you to 0 life, like you want to protect as much as you can, and the fact that you can't block this just makes it really strong.
No, absolutely. And I know even playing when I'm playing green, when I'm holding a lot of 1-drop blockers and stuff like that, and you drop the Monkey D. Luffy, that's my entire turn. I have to get that off the board so then I can start playing my cards. So I can see that card having a lot of value. And I'm not sure if I've been seeing, is that a common card in StrawBeard, like playing the 4 of the Luffy?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I know a lot of people were running this, or the guy that got first after Swiss, he was running 3 of these.
Okay.
And I saw other people running 3 or 4, so I think that's pretty standard. Like I know like maybe Boat might not play this just because the other characters are already huge.
Yeah.
But it's just a really strong card. Like,
It truly is.
Yeah, like round 2, I was playing Kinemon, Alvin, and we got to play round 2. I didn't see my ace or any of the 9-beards, so I did see 2 of these, and the fact that I was able to protect both of them just helped me push for game.
Yeah, definitely. I totally see that. Sweet.
So that's it for the like basic strong engine that you want to hit on curve. I also play a lot of 2Ks, but I'll go into that after.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know that Straw Hats have a ton of 2K, so I can't wait to see your selections in those
So
slots.
after that, like this is just the Whitebeard stuff. So I played 2 Vista. I still thought Vista was pretty good just to get rid of problematic small blockers, be able to swing after.
For sure.
I played 2 King Duke just in case I was forced to go first.
Yeah.
This card was pretty good. Like even going second, like when I didn't see Ace, I would play this on my turn 3, and then the Monkey D. Luffy turn 4. That way, this could get a bigger swing also.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's pretty cool.
And then I went for 3 Ace.
I love that. Ace is one of my... Oh, nice. And a manga Ace. That's really tight.
Mix and match.
One of each. But Ace is one of my favorite cards, actually, that came out in OPO 2. How did that card perform in your deck?
This card overperformed.
Hell
Like, this
yeah.
card's really so good. When you drop it on turn 4, it just feels like you get someone's advantage. You can either like subtract your bigger blockers, force them to use them, but like not get enough value out of them to where they can protect them. Or if you're like they have a big board and they attack, you can just reduce that and just not even like what do you call it? You don't have to waste dons. You can just do like regular swings on them.
Yeah, definitely. You
just
can
give it
make
a fight.
making a 7K a 4K and then swinging at it with a 6K leader is hard for your opponent to deal with.
And
Definitely.
then this card is really good against the mirror too. Like once they swung with the Luffy or their 4/6, you drop this and you just clear their board.
Definitely.
They have to build again. So yeah, this card is really good.
Okay.
But I don't think I would run it a 4.
No, I believe it. Not having counter power is a big part of that, right? Because it can't just sit in your hand and it costs 7, so you can't combo them well. But that card is very powerful in my opinion. So I'm happy to hear that it performed really well for you.
Sub round 7. That's where I saw all 3 of them. And I was like, it doesn't do it. Like I can't do enough against the Kinemon guy.
No, definitely. Okay.
Then I played
The boy.
the boy. This card's insane.
That card is meta changing. That card is just meta defining, actually, more so is what was the term for it. But that card is so strong. Like you have to play around it so consistently.
Yeah, once you hit your 10 down, like what I like is that you can play this, give this a boost to 2K,
Yep.
and then you have a radical beam to make it 12. So you're already guaranteed. Even if you're at 1 life, you're guaranteed to like survive a turn.
Absolutely.
So yeah, 4 of these. I was playing 3 and 3, but then I was like, no, I need the 4th one. Like this card's like the heart and soul of the deck, I think.
I like the 4th Newgate definitely for the consistency.
Yep.
It's just really oppressive in the late game when you're really in a grindy position. You can drop 2 of them back to back. Like just having that option is very
Yep.
powerful. So I like your choices there, definitely.
And then like since we don't have any surges for like the Whitebeard engine, like yeah, 4 was the right call.
Definitely. If you see 1, you send it to the bottom deck. Doesn't feel so bad with Nami when you know you got 4 in there.
Yep.
Definitely.
Declare your effect on leader.
Yeah, declare the leader.
Declare the leader effect.
That's what we learned from Peoria for
Yep.
sure.
Now we know.
Yep.
We won't forget. So
That's
then,
such a crazy ruling though.
yeah, up to 1. Like, who wouldn't want to use it?
Yeah, exactly.
So next, you just saw like my defensive cards.
Yeah.
I didn't play any blockers. I was testing Marco at 2. But then at the end, I just decided to cut it for more 2Ks. Marco's a really good card to play as well. I probably, after this, find spot for it.
Definitely. I know Marco takes a lot of thought though too because you have to play a certain amount of Whitebeard cards so he's not dead on board. So I understand why it's not super easy to just chuck 2 of them in.
Yep.
Definitely.
So then I just played for Luffy.
Cool.
This card is really good when you're trying to swing for a game, and they put even a 5K blocker for Otama.
That's okay.
More Nami targets for Brook, 2 Sanjis, and then a random Makino.
Yeah, I like that. So so that's 4, 8, 12, 14, 17 2K. That's such an interesting number. How did 17 2K counters play for you this weekend?
It played pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, most of my matchups,
defensive.
it was life.
Definitely. And like that's the thing that right when you're calculating for your kill turns, there's always a point in your head where like, damn, I hope they're not all 2K counters. And when you're playing 17 of them, I'm sure there's lots of situations where they were all 2K counters for you.
Yep, and that's why I like this deck over the Whitebeard too, because like even though boat can set up Marco, and I know they play Radical Beam and what's the other one? Guard Point?
Like guard point? Yeah. Yep, that's the one.
Like sometimes you have like more dead cards. Like you have what's the one that reduces that takes a life? It reduces by 4K and then takes a life when you play it. I forget the name of it though.
Oh, is his name? Man, I can't remember. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You're playing
though.
that. You're playing the boat. You're playing.
His name starts with an S or something.
You're playing the other. Yeah, you're playing the other event that Sword.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
You're playing the other event that like the other event that KOs.
Yep.
So I just
Seaquake.
Yep. So I just felt like I wanted to play more 2Ks, protect my life until I could drop the 9-beard, and then just go from there.
No, that balances really, really well because in those other strategies too, I think that they're relying so much on the boat that you have a lot more fluidity where you can be fielding a lot of your Straw Hat cards, but then everything else just kind of accumulates in your hand from your leader effect and then taking maybe a couple hits or whatever, however it comes to your hand. But then you're sitting on a fat hand and it's really easy to just calculate out, right, how many swings and stuff you can do. So that's a sweet defensive setup.
Yep, and then the last defensive card for Radical Beam.
Awesome.
So another search for Nami, 4K. It's really, really good. Like I said, once you boost your leader up to 8, this and 2 cards already guarantee you're going to survive a turn.
Definitely, definitely. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. So before we get into like kind of a tournament rundown and a wrap up of your matchups and stuff like that, and talking about Newgate in the format, if you guys made it this far in the video, drop a sub, leave a like, leave a comment. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate it if you guys drop a sub if you're not subbed already. But let's talk about the tournament. What were your matchups? Because I know that Kinemon was running around a lot, but Blue Dofi was the deck that kind of popped up this weekend that people weren't tested against, right?
I did see a lot of Dofi players.
Yeah.
Funny thing, I only played one Dofi, and
wow.
It was right after our lunch break. So I almost lost that round because I was late to the round thinking we had more time for lunch.
Yeah.
So I ran and I only had 20 seconds left before they were about to announce my opponent the winner.
Yeah.
So I just shuffled deck, presented it. I didn't even pull my mana or anything. And I was like, here, man, here. Like, we're good.
Yep.
We're good.
Yep. We're starting here. That's crazy. But yeah, no, I think we've all had that moment where we had to sprint to a table, but hey, you made it in 20 seconds.
So yeah, the thing with Dofi, I feel like Dofi and I did play on Magellan too. They're weird decks, but I feel like their matchup against the StrawBeard is also really good.
Yeah.
Like they're dropping body after body, like 4-6, kind of like you're doing. So they check like they can check you like a 1 or 2K every time. So your hand is full of 2Ks, even with the 6 swing. Like you're deciding like, do I take a life or do I drop a 2K? The fact that Dofi can hit now the Gecko Moria, like the 4-6 Gecko Moria, that's pretty strong. On top of that, they're also playing a lot of defensive cards. They're playing the Boa Hancock.
Boa looks like she's been putting in work.
She has.
I was watching a couple games with Dofi, and she just accumulates you like 2, 3, 4 cards in a couple turns, and that really can swing the momentum. So
yeah, and the fact that like now you're debating like, do I swing at life or do I swing at your rested character that you played off your leader? Like that already builds like a defensive line for you. And Mihawk's really strong.
Mihawk is very strong. Yeah, tapping 9 and bottom decking something is so powerful.
I got my ace bottom deck, and that felt kind of bad, but
for sure.
I had enough counter power, so I was like, okay, I think I'm fine.
For sure. And the one thing about going into the Dofi matchup too is when they are tapping 9 for the Mihawk, that is the only thing that they're doing that turn. They only have one other Don to kind of float with, so you're kind of in a safe space from like fending off their attacks and stuff. But man, losing the momentum of losing a 7-drop on curve is pretty raw.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like you played him, and then on the next turn they just drop it on you. It's like, oh, what do I do now? Like,
yep, for sure. Cool. What were some of your other matchups, or was it mostly just like Whitebeard after that?
So that's the thing. Out of the 9 rounds, I played 0 Whitebeards.
Oh wow!
I feel like my matches were pretty diverse. Round 1, my opponent didn't show up, so that was a good start, I guess.
Definitely.
Round 2 and 3. Oh no, sorry. 2 was the Kinemon player, Alvin. 3 and 4 were Smoker players.
Okay.
So there was also a lot of Smoker players, but towards the end of the day, like they weren't like really seeing as much. So yeah, so it was there was 1 Kinemon, round 2, round 3 and 4 was Smoker. The round 5 was Dofi. The round 6 was Magellan.
Okay.
Round 7 was the Kinemon. That's the one I lost on stream.
Yeah.
Round 8 was against the Law player. and then round 9 was against the Zoro Shark.
Yeah, the Zoro Shark. That's
Zoro
what we'll call it. That's what we'll call it. So essentially, what happened was you tapped 9, you played your Newgate, you didn't declare.
I didn't.
And
yeah.
did you know right away that you didn't declare, so you were screwed, or did it pass over into the battle step of the next turn?
So no. The thing was like throughout the whole tournament, like I guess people weren't declaring this at all. Like I was one of them. Like I'll say that, but the opponents weren't saying anything about it. Like okay, he's 8. This comes. He's 8. So that was the thought process up until that point. So what I ended up doing was I dropped him. I had an ace on field, so I went 7. So after I dropped him, I did 7 ace at his rush Luffy, and then I was like 8 at Luffy, and then he's like, no, you didn't declare this. You didn't declare on your leader, so he's only 6, and you have to take your last life.
Damn, that's rough. That's really
So yeah, now that I read it, it was like okay. It says I don't know why band they did that where they were like up to 1. I was like oh, because you had to. I had a judge come over, a head judge, and he was like, yeah, you could declare 0 leader.
Okay. With just like with the up 2 ruling, no, I see that, but yeah, no, it just doesn't make sense. The card should just buff by 2K.
It's okay.
It is what it is.
Like after that loss, like we were still able to squeeze in there, and now we know.
Yeah.
Declare it.
Yep.
Declare
Now
it.
we know to declare it. Sweet. So, looking at future tournaments, future events, are you still playing just StrawBeard? I know tonight you were testing some Boatbeard. How do you feel about the StrawBeard versus Boatbeard, and where are you going to go with this deck list in the future?
I feel like the StrawBeards are like the stronger deck. Like when I'm playing, Moby Dick is OP. Like Moby Dick is so good, but like there's not really a way to search it at the moment. So you either have to look for it, or you have to hope that it's in life.
Definitely.
So like on games that you don't see it, like I feel like the deck falls behind as compared to this deck. Like even like there's games where you don't see the 9 drop, but like as long as you have ace and like you're rushing with your rush Luffy, your 4/6s, and you have enough 2Ks in hand, you're able to live.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing I probably switch in the deck is I do want to add Marco because I feel like that is
a powerful.
That's a pretty good card. Like what I noticed is like Marco's kind of like a pseudo Newgate in a way, where like once he hits the field, like most of the time you're gonna be protected for a turn unless you're playing against Kinemon, because they can rest it. But even then, once they rested it, like their focus is on Marco. It's like let's swing out Marco or let's try to go to light.
Yep.
So that's so I'm liking both, but I just feel like the StrawBeard version is stronger.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And that's kind of been the general consensus just over everybody. I've just been seeing StrawBeard everywhere. So it seems like it's been catching fire. It seems like a pretty popular deck.
Yeah, and like I said,
know.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I know Kinemon was kind of like the king of the meta in the early game, or in the early part of the meta, but now we're getting into the mid and later parts of the meta. People are really discovering these red leaders like crazy.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with Kinemon is like people figured out like if you once they go first, like when they're at 7-9, you just ignore their characters and just keep swinging at face so they can't reduce the 1 cost and play their Odin. So now they have to wait another turn to drop it.
Yep.
So you're just rushing them and just leaving their Okiku or like their Raizo and stuff. Like I feel like most of the time you do hit their Momo or their Bonnie just so they don't get their blockers.
Yeah.
But like big characters, you just leave and he's going to live. The fact that he's 6K, they have to waste it on every time. So I feel like that matchup's not as hard. It's definitely, I'd say it's kind of like a 60-40 there.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that too, because the other thing that I was thinking that when you were saying that is that if all your characters are coming down, you're attacking with them pretty much as soon as you can. The Okiku loses so much value, so because all your stuff is already suspended. So, no, I love that. I love that that's your matchup. But last question here for the interview. Do you have any just tips for anybody that's picking up this deck for the first time or picking up at this point in the meta where it's like, oh, this deck is just so crazy, I have to build it? Any just pointers right away?
I'd say if you're playing this deck, like when I first started playing it, I made the mistake where I took a life early on, and that really messes up with how you're gonna play later on, because then dropping the 9-beard doesn't feel as good anymore, because then now you're scared do I survive 2 hits? Do I survive the turn after? So you want to protect them as much as you can up until you drop this. After you drop this, if they swing for if they waste enough down to do a big swing, you just take the life.
Definitely.
Because now you set up at that point you should have already set up your board where you're in a fine position to next turn, even though you're at 1 you're gonna take your last life, you should be able to kill them or have enough cards in hand to live 1 more turn.
Yep.
So protect your life up until you're able to drop this. And that's another thing though. I'd say playing Marco makes it a little bit so like if you don't have like enough counter power or you don't want to drop a card, you can lose a life because now on your following turn you drop a Marco
and it's live.
And now you have a protection and now you're not relying so much on like I need enough counter power to get out of it.
Definitely. That's really, really interesting. That's a really good tip as well. Thank you for that. Yeah, but no, that's gonna wrap up the deck profile here. I appreciate your time and congratulations on a top 16 finish on the in-person regionals. Like that's super huge. So
thank you.
Yeah, no, you've represented Minnesota super well. But
appreciate it.
This is gonna be Jamonster with Opa's Game. If you guys made it this far, don't forget like, comment, subscribe, and Oz. We're gonna be out. Take care. Oh, and don't forget, declare your 9-drop Whitebeard.
Declare your 9-drop.
Declare those 9 drops.